The CEO's ex-wife is a famous doctor.
The anonymous number. Dark circles formed around her eyes as Shantelle packed her bags at 5 in the morning. She kept returning to the closet and deciding on what to bring. Evan bought her a few dresses. Even if they were in a loveless marriage, somehow he had thought about her. "I think it's better not to bring anything that would remind me of Evan," she mumbled and resumed packing only those she bought with her father's money. When she was done, she called for her father's driver and asked him to pick her up. Only then did she read the terms of their divorce. She read it once and twice until it all sunk into her head. "You are getting a divorce, Shanty. You are getting a divorce," she repeated. "No more crying. Cry later when you are at home." $10 million. She reread. Evan would give her $10 million as alimony for accepting the divorce terms. Shantelle marked out the alimony. She affixed her signature on the correction. Afterward, she cautiously signed her name on every page and at the last part. She felt a knife stab her heart as she affixed her signature next to Evan's. For a moment, she wondered when he had signed this contract. When Shantelle was done, her shaking hands placed the document beside the table, and she sadly removed her wedding ring. Tears threatened to fall again, but she held back. Shantelle allowed herself a few minutes to take it all in. Just as she was sitting on the bed, her phone buzzed. Immediately, she assumed it was her father's driver. To her surprise, it was the same anonymous number that had been telling her about Evan and Nicole. However, the message was bolder this time, declaring herself. Her eyes widened at what she saw, and her heart galloped. On her screen was a picture of Evan having coffee at an unfamiliar dining area. From the photo, Shantelle could tell that Evan had just woken up. His hair was messy and he wore his usual office attire, except it was all wrinkled. The message on her phone read, "No matter what you do, he will come back to me. He never loved you." Chantelle's face turned ghostly white. She could not believe her eyes. Apparently, her mysterious tipper was none other than Nicole Lively herself. How brazen! Her mouth fell open as she threw her head back on the sheets. She laughed and laughed while tears streamed down her face. After what felt like 10 minutes of laughing and crying her heart out, she replied to the message saying, "So, it was you all along, Nicole. I would never have thought. Well, you can have him. I accept my defeat." Either way, Shantelle had already signed the divorce papers and earnestly accepted that Evan did not love her. For seconds, she contemplated what to do. Still, she thought it was necessary to let Evan know what Nicole had done. She took a screenshot of Nicole's message, then she sent it to Evan. Shantelle typed her message. "I agree to the divorce. You can have your $10 million. I don't need the money, Evan. I am Shantelle Scott, daughter of the world-famous cardiosurgeon Dr. William Scott. Thank you for everything, Evan, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry for everything." Before leaving, Shantelle made sure that Evan would get her message clearly. She wrote added instructions in her letter. "By the way, I marked out the alimony and countersigned it. As I said in my text, you don't need to give me any money. And I'm sorry about the picture message I sent you. I just thought you should know." The next call she received was that of her father's driver. She gave her room one last look before finally leaving her marital